to answer that because, you know, of course, and I think my two panelists have already said it. So what I want to share with you all is a tiny bit of my story. So I'm a Westie, so born in West Auckland and went to Te Reo Primary, Sunnyvale Primary and Rangeview Intermediate. And I grew up in Tui Glen Caravan Park. And the reason I say that is my whole life I grew up in caravan parks. In fact, I went to 8 schools and I'm a high school dropout. I ended up in Australia with my mother, and at 17 I got on a plane and came and found my father back in New Zealand. I'm not the stereotype of who gets a tech job. And I think my role is to continue to share my story and help and have a hand up for others in terms of you can do it. I am so passionate about Māori and Pacifica because of my roots at Te Reo Primary. And my son actually goes to a predominant Māori school and he speaks Te Reo, does the kabahaka like no one else. Our people are proud. Our people, you are all leaders. And we all need to give you that hand up, not a handout. So what I want to do now is I want to be the face of change because I look like some sort of typical person that went to some sort of school. And so I feel like I came out 3 years ago. I finally told my real story because that actually wasn't easy. I'm always growing up in a male world. I felt that I had imposter syndrome terribly. What if they found out that I'm a high school dropout? And honestly, 3 years ago, I came out and started telling my real story. So I just want to be the inspiration to the next generation. Has it been hard work? Yes. Do you have to network? Yes. Do you have to lean into the harder things? Yes. But man, if you want it, and you want it enough, you can go find it. And if I can be that for the younger generation, I will do everything I can to open up new intern roles, go find you, encourage you, and bring you in. But step forward. Think of STEM. Don't be the high school dropout. You don't want to get that message. But believe in yourself and find people that believe in you and surround yourself with those people. And that's really what I want to do more of. So, thanks.
I said to Tess the same thing that the other panelists said. I can't choose a side. She said I have to. So I'll do Māori and Pacifica enable the change in technology? And the perspective that I took on this was really around the ability for us to be relevant. Now I've got a couple of stories that I want to share. When the First Nation people of North America wanted to transition their cultures through to the digital platform, what they did was they consulted with a very big brand IT company, remains nameless, but very, very, and this company is renowned for doing some amazing things. And what they did was they took the culture and they spoke to these people and tried to figure out how to transition their culture and the very essence of what it meant to be a First Nation person or part of the First Nation people into a digital platform so that their culture could be preserved years and hundreds of years from now. What they later found out sort of 10, 15 years into the project was that a lot of the gaps, there were so many gaps in this transition or in this transformation. The reason being was the essence of the culture was missing. And that when you talk about the essence of a culture, it goes beyond the capability of language or the understanding of language. It goes beyond residency research. Someone that goes and spends a year or two with some people, you'll pick up part of it, but you'll never quite pick up the very thing that you understand because you come from there. And that isn't to take away from anyone who loves our culture or loves our people. It's more the fact that it's more a mandate on those of us whose roots and our heritage comes from those people, from those places, that we have a responsibility to actually carry that essence into the very future in terms of what the new platforms will look like, so that our children and our children's children will be able to see it without any contamination whatsoever. And so that was the experience that the people of the First Nation people out of the North America we're able to experience. If I sort of bring it closer to home, and I spent some time with the team out of the Cook Islands, who are building this project to try and capture and record and archive all of our Pasifika and even Maori artifacts that don't remain in our possession anymore. And a lot of them are sitting in museums all around the world. And so I sat with these guys, and they were telling me about this particular story around A'a. And A'a was a deity from the Austral Polynesian area up to the northeast of where we are. And what they had done, and it's in the Museum of London to promote it, was they had sort of broadcast and said, come and see it, come and see it. And then they thought about how do we make this more available through digital, and so they started creating these digital platforms to talk about art. And then they thought they'd take it a little bit further, and then they thought, hey, we'll create 3D models of art. And then suddenly it kept going, but what then happened was A'a then became, create your own A'a, and then A'a was somewhere where you could put your cigarettes in the back of, right? And this was because people didn't understand the essence of A'a and the essence of where it comes from and the people that deity belongs to. And it's it's not a discredit to those people. It's the fact that they don't understand, because they weren't there when A'a was a true part of our culture. And so when I look at this and I look at what do we want to do and how do we impact technology, the way we impact technology is by being a voice within an industry that is looking for a different perspective, looking for some of us to stand up and say, hey, what if we tried it this way? And it's not just about color, it's not just about skin or race or creed. It's about the fact that we should embrace all different changes, especially around, what if someone is dyslexic? Today I mentor a child through our PASI program, through Pasifika and IT, who is dyslexic. But when you watch this kid code, he's mind-blowing. And technology is that platform that allows us to find some equilibrium across everything that we do. And so, as much as I didn't want to do this, thank you very much, Tess, I felt like I taking that angle and speaking out for the ability for us to actually take a position in this industry. Let me give you a last couple of facts. Number one, in 15 years, there will only be 2 industries left. What are they? Technology. Technology will be one. Today, technology is a component of every industry across all the different verticals. 15 years from now, technology will overtake and it will be the overarching layer above every industry. If you're not in technology, you need to think about how do I get in there. The only other industry that will exist is healthcare. Why? Because automation, AI can deal with every other industry, but what it cannot do is it cannot heal the human state of mind. So healthcare will remain. So therefore, my encouragement to each and every person here is think about which of these industries you're looking at, and how do you ensure that you prepare yourself for a future that is going to get very, very clear, very, very fast. And so for me, the only way that we can do this is by having a voice, stepping in. Whether you're Māori or Pasifika, you need to take a position. And the position that I'm looking for as someone who's been sitting in the IT industry for 22 years is more voices out there that can give me a different perspective, because even my perspective is limited. I came into the digital age. You guys, a lot of you guys here were born in it, so you don't know any different. And that perspective I can't bring, only you can, right? So I just wanted to leave that awkward silence.